working now. Ooh. That's better. Oh, what's going on? There it is. Why didn't that pop up earlier? Oh, goodness. There we go. Yeah, audio's up, stream's up, we're all good to go. Why did that just not work? Whatever. I started the stream a little while ago, but for whatever reason it just wasn't working. I have no idea why. But it's working now, which is, I suppose, the main thing. But stream's up, chat's up, audio is working as it should, so no problems at the moment. Hello everyone, and welcome to round 8 of the Pacific Elite Series here on Race Spec Esports. I'm Everingham, your commentator for this event, and tonight we'll be racing at the Jeddah Corniche Circuit for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Designed by Carsten Tilke, son of track-making supremo Hermann Tilke, the street circuit measures up at 6.17 kilometers, consists of 27 corners and 3 DRS zones that lead into the prime overtaking spots of Turn 1, Turn 22 and Turn 27. Outside of those areas, the drivers will have to deal with one of the toughest S sections on the Formula 1 calendar. The section, formed by turns 3 through 10, is incredibly fast and forces the driver to push their car right to the edge of grip. The circuit rewards those with complete commitment, accuracy and focus, but get it even slightly wrong and the track will punish you, as around every corner on this racetrack, those solid concrete walls are looming not too far away. To add to the drama and the spectacle of this whole event, this is the second sprint round of the championship. 2 races for the price of 1 and a ton of points to be scored, giving more incentive to the drivers to push hard and score big. Now, before we focus on this here qualifying session, there is a bit of news to go through first from last week's race in Montreal. There were 3 incident reports, only one of which came out with a penalty, and that was an incident between Roscoe Arm and Gares, collision at Turn 2 that resulted in Roscoe Arm spinning out into the infield area at Turn 2. Gares was given a 5-second time penalty and 1 penalty point for causing a collision. There was also a penalty protest for ACW, which turned up as no further action, as well as an incident report about what happened on the first lap between ACW and Smithy, which also turned out to be no further action from the stewards. So with the only time penalty being applied to Gares, he moves from P9 to P11 in the final results. In the Drivers' Championship, Smithy is leading the way. He's on 152 points, followed by F1 Ferrari Pro on 136. His teammate ACW is third on 132. So the top three, currently separated by only 20 points as we hit the halfway mark in this championship season. P4 is GeForce Pato on 105, followed by his teammate Plebs on 93. I believe as well Pato is suffering from some sort of massive headache, so he's going to be up against it tonight, that's for sure. Bags Liddell P6 on 69 points, followed by Spicy on 60, Roscoe Arm on 59, Pump on 41, and FVR Riley rounds out the top 10 on 38 points. In the Constructors, Ferrari are leading the way. They're on 268 points, followed by Aston Martin on 221. Alpine are third on 198, and there's still a huge gap between P3 and P4. Alfa Romeo on 77 points, a whopping 121 behind Alpine in third. Next is McLaren on 74, followed by Mercedes on 66. Williams on 50, AlphaTauri on 35, Haas on 26, and Red Bull Racing at the bottom of the order on 18 points. But that's pretty much it in terms of news. We can now focus on this qualifying session, as F1 Ferrari Pro is currently sitting at the top with a 1 minute 28.570. He is less than 1/10 of a second in front of championship leader Smithy. Spicy's bailed on this lap. It appears that Bags Liddell is on a flying lap attempt here, making his way around turn 21 into turns 22 and 23, which have been redesigned for this year's real-life Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And it seems that Bags has actually bailed on the lap, I've just noticed. GeForce Pato will cross the line to set a 1 minute 29.187. That's P4 for the Italian. Just a few tenths off AMS Kong in P3. Plebs getting ready for a flying lap attempt. Same with Jimson and Davis. In fact, Davis will be the first of these drivers on an outlap to begin a flying lap attempt. So we're going to ride on board with the AlphaTauri driver. Give you a tour of this 6.17 kilometre 27 turn racetrack. Out to the final corner and down the main straightaway. You'll open DRS and begin the flying lap. Shifting it into top gear, heading down towards the best overtaking spot on the circuit, turn 1. Hard on the brakes just at the 100 metre board, down to third gear. Clips the first apex as he drops it down to second and short shifts up to fourth gear at the exit of turn 2. Around turn 3, up towards the left-hander of turn 4, into down to fifth gear, around turn 5, into the left-hander of turn 6, then turn 7, into turn 8, and up towards turn 9. Now around the left-hander of turn 10, the notorious S section. And it's called out Davis. He ran too wide at the exit of turn 10, used too much of the curb and the runoff area on the inside of turn 11, and he's invalidated this flying lap. Right on board with Plevs. He's bailed on the lap. So we're right on board with Jimson then. Coming around turn 6 into turn 7, then the right of turn 8, and the other right of turn 9. Around the left now at turn 11 to complete the S section. Through turns 11 and 12, down this straightaway towards turn 13. A long left-hand sweeper where you need to be committed on the accelerator, need to time it right, time it wrong, and you'll end up in the barrier on the outside. Around turn 14 into turn 15, around the chicane of 16 and 17. Getting close to the barrier on the outside as he heads around turn 18 into turn 19. DRS open around turn 20, around the right-hander of 21, then into the chicane of 22 and 23. Sixth gear, clipping the apex is pretty spot on through there. Around turn 24, he'll open DRS around turn 25, head up towards turn 26, and then the final corner, turn 27, the second best overtaking spot on the circuit. Down to third gear. Will he short shift? Yes, he shall. Tidy exit, doesn't Verstappen it into the outside wall. He'll head up towards the line to complete this flying lap. 29.2 exactly, goes fifth quickest. That's okay, KD, take your time. You're all good, mate. Plevs getting ready to set a flying lap, or have another crack at a flying lap attempt. He bailed very early, 1 lap ago, as ACW has left the session. So did GeForce Pato, so hopefully they'll be able to rejoin, and that's not great from Plevs, cutting too much of turn 2, invalidating the run. Bags Liddell making his way through turns 1 and 2. This opening double hairpin, tight chicane. Out of turn 3, up towards turn 4. As Plevs has retired, he has crashed out through turn 6. Looky here. There he is, into the outside wall. He is out of qualifying. He has not set a representative time. There's a fairly decent likelihood he'll be starting at the back of the grid for the sprint race for the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. My, oh my. What on earth happened to Plevs? I don't think he was pushing. He invalidated at turn 2, if you remember. So there was no reason to keep pushing on the lap. Maybe he got tripped up in traffic, I'm not sure, but he's out. Slow Red Bull as well. I think Gaz was just trying to get out of the way. Is that Gaz, by the way? Yes, it is. He's just trying to get out of the way of everybody. Very gentlemanly, as Bags is apparently purple to the middle sector according to the minimap. We'll see how he fares if he can complete this flying lap without any mistakes. We've also got just under 7.5 minutes left in qualifying at Smithy. Bags' teammate jumps to the top with a 28.4. He's just beaten Ferrari Pro by just under 0.2 of a second. Bags Liddell will cross the line to set a 28.932. He jumps up, he vaults up to P4 with that lap time. Kong has invalidated this run. Ferrari Pro is up by a measly 47 thousandths of a second. That isn't a great deal of time to be found, especially in the first sector where there's so many tricky corners to go through. He needs to find another tenth and a bit through these final two sectors, and he's sending it through the chicane, getting comfortably close to the barrier at the exit of turn 17. Around turn 20, the left-hander, then the right-hander of turn 21 into the chicane of 22-23. He's lost time. He spins it into the wall. He's out of qualifying. He's thrown it away with a huge smash at 23, our second retirement of the session. Roscoe Arm has bailed on that lap. ACW getting ready. There's bags right behind him as well. Oh no! Into the wall goes Davis. Fortunately, he is not out of qualifying. That was a huge snap. Hit the wall, but he's still going. How lucky is he? As ACW has dropped out of the session again, he did notify people in the Discord that his Ethernet cable that hooks up to the Wi-Fi modem has suddenly stopped working, so he has to use a Wi-Fi signal. And apparently it's not too great, and it's showing he's dropping out several times throughout this session. He's rejoined again as GeForce Pato begins another flying lap. Oh, dearie me, he's got a headache, that's for sure. Not just a real-life one, but also an in-game one. He's the only representative of Alpine who was inside the top 10. His teammate threw it away minutes earlier through this same section that Pato is going through now. Around the left-hander of 6, the left-hander of 7, the right of 8 and 9. Running wide, but not invalidating. How about that? Through turn 10. Using plenty of curb at 11, through 12, up towards the left-hand sweeper of turn 13. He's up by 1.5 tenths of a second. Carrying the speed all the way around the left-hander, too much so. He lost traction. Brilliant catch, though, by the Italian, and he's still pushing on this lap. He can't afford to slow down, it seems. Through turn 16, through 17. Ooh, getting close to the wall on the exit. Through 18 into 19. Then the left-hander of 20, DRS open, heading around turn 21. Up towards the chicane now of 22 and 23. He's down massively. What I think he's doing, he's pushing hard so he can get back into the pits, put on another set of tyres, and go out for one final run. I think that's what he's doing. Gez getting ready on a outlap. Roscoe Arm on a flyer. He's making his way through the final sector. And he's not pushing. He's saving battery and fuel. Will he have enough time to get back out? I think he will. And Pato is indeed going back into pit lane. It might be a tad bit tight with time, but I think he should be okay. And he does go back into pit lane. Alright, Gez, this could be your final flying lap attempt with just under 4 minutes left in qualifying. Sending it down the main straightaway towards turn 1. Top speed, 332 kilometers an hour. Down to 4th gear through 1. 4th gear through 2. Short shifting up to 5th through turn 3. Up towards turn 4, the left-hander. Brings it down to 4th gear, clips the apex, short shifts up to 5th through turn 5. Into the left of 6 and 7. Up towards 8 and 9. Keeps it within the white lines. Has not invalidated yet. Through turn 10. Keeps it very tidy. Nicely done there. Is he up? Yes, and he's up by a fair chunk. Up by almost 6 tenths of a second to the first sector. Tidy run out of 13. Around turn 14. Into the left of 15. Then the chicane of 16 and 17. Down to 4. Short shifting up to 5th. Oh, not quite as aggressive on the exit compared to some of the other drivers. Very conservative there. Up towards the middle sector split. The clock says Gez is up by 7 tenths of a second. He's looking at a high 28. If he can find any more time, might be able to challenge the top 3. There's a bit of traffic in front of him, though. And AlphaTauri getting ready for their run. That would have to be Davis. Does he get out of the way? Yes, he does. That's very good sportsmanship there from Davis. As Gez does not Verstappen it at the final corner. He'll head up towards the line. He will jump up, but by how much? It's to P5 with a 28.923. Smithy beginning his final flying lap attempt. What could be his final flying lap attempt with 2 minutes left in qualifying. Through 1, into 2. Keeping it in 4th gear just like Gares, but not short shifting it up to 5th. He utilises all of 4th gear. Through the S's now. Turn 4 into turn 5. Now the left of 6 and 7. Keeping it in 6th gear. Up to 7th. Down to 6 again. Through turn 10, turn 11 and 12. Clock says to the first sector, he is up by 31 thousandths of a second. Kong, meanwhile, is getting himself ready for his final flying lap attempt. Currently P3. He could challenge for P2 on the grid for the sprint race, but he needs to improve by about 2.5 tenths of a second. Smithy using all of the track limits, and using the full width of the course at the exit of turn 17, around turn 19 and 20. DRS open on the Aston Martin. Clock says to the middle sector, Smithy is down, but not by much. Through 22 and 23, underneath the hotel, round 24. Around the left-hander of 25. Heading around the iconic Red Sea, up towards the final corner of 27. Entry speed 330 kilometers an hour, brings it down to 4th gear, back on the accelerator, keeps it incredibly tidy on the exit. Up towards the line for our championship leader. He'll set a 1 minute 28.264. He reaffirms himself at the top of the table. Can anybody challenge that? Kong is up by 1/10 of a second to the first sector. What does the clock say to the middle sector? He's up by 2.25 tenths of a second, and he gets through turn 23 without invalidating. Spicy, meanwhile, making his way through the first sector. Bags Liddell doing the same, so we'll keep our eyes on Kong. Can he challenge Ferrari Pro for P2 for the sprint? Gets a tidy run out of turn 27. Doesn't bonk the wall. He'll open DRS and head up towards the line. It's a 1 minute 28. Oh, he's taken pole! He's taken pole! He's found a massive amount of time in the final sector. A 1 minute 28.184. He snatched it last minute from Smithy. Where did that come from? My goodness, Spicy up by 2.5 tenths. Pato jumps up to P3 with a 28.4. Is Smithy done? Yes, he's done. He cannot re-challenge for pole position. The best he can hope for is P2. What can Spicy do? 1 corner remains for him. Around the final turn. Back on. Oh my word. He almost Verstappened it and then some. Well, I think that's qualifying over for him. He pulls off into pit lane. Around the final corner for Bags Liddell. Back onto the main straightaway. Can he improve? Someone's improved its pump. A 28.5. He jumps to 4th. Bags Liddell jumps to 5th with a 28.538. He's missed out on a P4 start by 25 thousandths of a second. In fact, we have 3 cars in the 28.5s on a racetrack that has 27 corners. Incredible. And Roscoe has invalidated his run. Marvelant has face planted himself into the barrier on the inside of turn 27. Oh, Roscoe venting his frustration, it seems. And ACW, he recovered well right at the death of qualifying. I failed to notice until now. A 1 minute 28.334. He will start P3, but will he stay there? He might get a good start, but his connection has been iffy at best. Hopefully he'll be able to stay in without dropping out for the sprint. Results from qualifying. The top 2 separated by 81 thousandths of a second. It's Kong who starts from pole position. Smithy will start alongside him on the front row. ACW is 3rd, followed by Pato in 4th. Pump 5th, Bags Liddell in 6th, followed by Ferrari Pro, who probably would be disappointed with that after that accident during qualifying. Spicy P8, Gez 9th. Jimson rounds out the top 10. The Simo P11, followed by Marvelant in 12th. Davis, Plebs and Roscoe unable to set representative times during that qualifying session. They start 13th, 14th and 15th for the sprint race here at Jeddah. But it's Kong who puts it on pole with a massive effort right at the death of qualifying. Why has this popped up? Okay, we're all good. We're all Gucci. I was getting nervous there when that popped up. Alright. Sprint race time in Jeddah. I wonder what the conditions will be like as well. It's nice and dusk. Not too much daylight, which is good. I'm sure the drivers would prefer it that way. I know when you set it to official, you can get some pretty wacky times for the sprint. So yeah, I think it's been set to dusk rather than having it on official for this event. Just so then drivers have less of a nightmare to deal with. Alright, we're counting down to the start of the formation lap. We're getting close to it. Drivers will be deciding what tyre to start on. I would believe everybody would be starting on the medium compound tyre. Maybe a couple towards the back that might try and gamble and start on the soft tyre. Who knows? We'll find out in a moment. Oh dear, he's dropped out again. Just as soon as the formation lap's about to start. That's really not good. See a lot of mediums. Oh, what do you know? Everybody is on the medium compound tyre for this sprint race at Jeddah. Alright, we can get rid of that. We don't need to talk about that. That's just fine. As ACW has rejoined, can he take control, though, of his Ferrari? That's the bigger question. And I do believe the answer is no on a formation lap. So ACW is a tad bit screwed. And when I say a tad bit, I am being minimalistic and generous. He's really screwed. Alright. 9 laps here at the Jeddah Corniche Circuit. Going to be a straight up dogfight between all 15 drivers. That's all that sprint racing is about. Just straight up dogfights. No strategies, no games. It's just hard racing. This ought to be fairly interesting. It's unfortunate with a circuit as long as this formation laps take forever. Oh, and Smithy, he's doing a donut for the crowd. Yes, that's what he's doing. He's showing off to the crowd. Demonstrating an advanced tyre warming technique right there. His tyres will be absolutely perfect now, I'm certain. He's doing some showing off for the Saudi Arabian F1 fans. This ought to be interesting towards the front. And yeah, as you can see, AI is still very much in control. Car is ghosting, so ACW is a bit screwed. As they make their way around the final corner, back down the main straightaway, they'll begin to line up into their respective grid slots for the start of the race. There's Pato getting himself ready. See Kong trying to get as much temperature into the rears as possible, doing plenty of burnouts. Will he line it up? Yeah, he does. Nicely done. Smithy. He's lining up. P2 Bags Liddell disqualified. Yeah, I was going to say, I thought he overshot his box for sure. We're not going to get a good camera angle for this, are we? No, okay, we're going to have to ride on board with someone. Ride on board with Smithy. Here we go, we have 10 red lights. And the sprint race is underway. Nice start from Smithy, bad start from Kong. Smithy has the inside line heading towards turn 1. And here comes Bags Liddell down the inside, trying to battle for P3. Kong trying to hang on to the lead. He does through turn 2. Side by side go the Ferraris as ACW leaves the session again. Pump has jumped up to P3. Ferrari Pro in P4. ACW tumbling. Contact and spinning goes Pato. He spins round. Points back in the right direction though, but he's now down in last. Damage in front. Somebody's end plate has fallen off. Who is it? Oh, McLaren's got completely destroyed front wing. Gers is off the racetrack. He must have damage. And he's pulled... Oh, he's come to a stop. He's retired on track. Why? Oh, for goodness sake. 2 wide, 3 wide if you want to include the ghost. Now definitely 3 wide. Heading through turn 13. The 2 Alphas and the AlphaTauri of Davis battling for position. And here comes Pato on the attack. He's all over the back of these guys. And he's not going to be mucking around. Yellows are out. It's Gaz's car dawdling around the racetrack. Because he, for whatever reason, decided to retire on track. But plenty of drama at the start. That's what this circuit produces more than anything else. Drama. Out in front though, Kong is leading the way, but not by much. Smithy is all over his gearbox. Yellows are out. It's Davis. He's made a mistake through turn 23. Huge slide from Smithy there at the final corner heading onto the main straightaway. 3.5 tenths separating the top 2 as they head down towards turn 1. Smithy close, but he won't be going for an attack just yet. He'll wait until lap 3 so he can utilise DRS to slingshot by. Pump not too far behind. Ferrari Pro in 4th. Jimson into the pit lane. Spicy in 5th position. Up 3 spots from where he started. Bads had a pretty decent start. I wonder if he got caught in the melee at turn 4. Because he was definitely challenging for P3, but he's back down in P6 where he qualified. 2 Alfa Romeos have got company in the form of Alpine and ACW's AI, making their way through turn 10, 11 and 12. Heading up towards the sweeper of turn 13. Pato buried in the slipstream, but not close enough to do anything just yet. Ferrari Pro on the back of Pump, making their way through turn 17. Into the back half of the racetrack. Switching on the battery. Closing in on the Williams. Towards turn 22, the left-hander. Chucking it through. Why are you giving me a predicted pit stop strategy? It's a sprint. Bloody graphic. Around the final part of the racetrack. Up towards the final corner. What will Pump do? Will he cover? No, he stays on the racing line. Ferrari Pro does not go for a move. Stay behind the Williams right now. We got a top 4 train led by AMS Kong. Followed behind him is Smithy, Pump and Ferrari Pro. Then it's almost 3 seconds back to Spicy, and he still has company in the form of Bags Liddell. Here comes Roscoe with the sheer power of the Alfa Romeo. He goes through into P8, moves himself in front of Marvelin. Behind him is the Simo, then GeForce Pato. He probably cannot believe his torrid start after a pretty solid qualifying session. Mentioned earlier he's got a headache. Imagine his headache got a little bit worse after what happened on the opening lap. Awesome shot though, looking at the cars in front as they squabble. Here comes Simo down the inside heading into turn 13. They're side by side. The Alpha gets the nose in front. He'll move in front of Marvelin. He moves into P9. Right behind him. Now GeForce Pato. He'll be looking to get by Marvelin. ASAP. He's not got the run just yet. In the slipstream, he's closing in bit by bit. Yellows are behind. It's Davis. He's pointing back in the right direction. He's lost time. He's still running though. Spicy Bags Liddell. They've got a battle on. GeForce Pato gets by Marvelin down the inside as Smithy sets a new fastest lap, a 31.052. Down the main straightaway. Marvelin is closing in, so is ACW. As we head down towards turn 1, ACW deep on the brakes. Couldn't fully commit to the move down the inside of turn 1 though. A bit of understeer there for Pato at the exit of turn 2, but he gets around the corner without scraping a wall. 4 tenths separating the top 2. They're pulling away from Pump. That's a bit of a problem for Pump. Predicament. Pump needs to get on with it, start putting pressure back on the top 2 places. Onto the back half of the racetrack. Pump won't have DRS. That's a big problem for Pump. Or does he? Nope, didn't think he did. Cool aerial shot here. Looking down at the racetrack, you can see the glamorous Red Sea. You can see as well an Aston Martin, I should say, closing in on a Red Bull. Smithy on the back of Kong, heading round the final corner. Tidy exit, switching on the battery. Here he comes. Unfortunately, Kong cannot do much about this. Ferrari Pro sets a new fastest lap. But on lap 5 of 9, Smithy has taken the lead. 7.5 tenths separating Kong and Pump. Roscoe gets by Plevs at turn 1. Plevs down to P8, but he's recovered well after whatever happened to him during qualifying. Bags Liddell still keeping Spicy company. Oh, was that a touch? That might have been a touch. Clipping the inside wall at turn 8 there. Bags Liddell cost himself time. Ferrari Pro now applying the pressure to Pump. Heading into the chicane of 16 and 17. Down to 5th gear. Tidy run from both cars there. Bit of a short shift up to 7th gear, up to 8th gear. DRS open. Look at the overspeed. He is closing in rapidly on the Williams, but not by enough. Deep on the brakes. Missed the... Oh, and Kong spins. He has spun at turn 23. He's thrown it away. He's thrown a chance of a sprint race win away. He tumbles down to P6, now P7. Here comes P8, and the rest are... Oh, and contact and spinning! Pato and Simo collide at turn 25, and Simo gets the short end of the stick. He tumbles down to 12th with wing damage as well. Oh, dearie me. What an amazing coincidence we were able to catch that too. Ferrari Pro battling Pump for what is now P2. It's the final 2 podium places in the sprint. Through turn 5, up towards turn 6, then turn 7. Now 8 and 9. Ferrari Pro doing all he can. Pump holding on. He's resisting the Ferrari. A terrific job. Spicy not doing as good of a job. A 3-second time penalty. That's a sight that Bags wanted to see. Here comes Kong down the inside, heading into turn 13. Plebs leaves room. They're side by side through the left-hand sweeper. Kong gets in front. He takes P7. So he does have wing damage. You can see a missing end plate after that collision with G-Force Pato. Pato hooked Simo into the wall, the left-hand side wall at turn 25. I'm probably certain that's going to be an incident report. Pump really under pressure now. Here comes Ferrari Pro. There's nothing Pump can do about this. Oh, Ferrari Pro. He's playing some games here, Ferrari Pro. He made sure he gets DRS down the main straight away. There's some gamesmanship for you as Kong passes Roscoe for P6. Plevs and ACW change places for P8. Ferrari Pro into P2. So some games being played. Here comes Roscoe and Kong into turn 1. Collision between Roscoe and Plevs. Plevs did a Porsche down the inside of turn 1, and evidently it didn't work. Pato slows down too, and through goes Plevs with a damaged wing, I believe. I'll double check. Yeah, he's got a missing end plate on that Alpine. It's going from bad to worse for the French outfit. Now ACW's hunting down Roscoe, but he's got technical issues. His internet connection is anything but stable. He's not lagging, but he's constantly disconnecting from the session. He needs to hope that his internet can stay intact for as long as possible, so he can at least try and battle Roscoe for P7 on track. Pumps trying to keep up with Ferrari Pro. The gap has increased to 0.7 of a second. It's starting to shrink again as they head towards the final corner. That is thanks to the sheer power of DRS. But Pump kind of missed the apex there at the final corner, overshooting it somewhat as ACW gets by Roscoe Arm. That's for P7. Can Roscoe Arm counter? Pato gets by Plebs, who has that damaged front wing. Roscoe Arm, using all the battery and DRS available to him, is not close enough to challenge the Ferrari into turn 1. Or at least he's not willing to do a Porsche into turn 1 either. Unlike Plebs. Plebs absolutely went for it. Unless he got helped into turn 1. Certainly looked like Plebs did it by himself, but he could have been helped, I'm not sure. Pump doing all he can to try and keep up with the Ferrari. Ferrari Pro's pretty solid in sprint races. He proved that last season. You're looking for that sort of form, that sort of momentum again here in Jeddah. Only trouble is, our championship leader, they're on form right now. They're not making mistakes. Smithy out in front, doing what he does best. Commanding the race, building a gap. Giving himself a cushion, heading towards a critical stage of a race. He's got 2.6 seconds in hand, and in sprint race terms, that's 2.6 light years. He's got a really healthy cushion. He does not need to push on this final lap. And he doesn't need to push for fastest lap. You do not score fastest lap in the sprint race. Don't score a point for it. Marvelous. Players changing places. Players just in no man's land with that damaged front wing. He's trying to counter though, closing in on Marvelin, following his teammate in the slipstream. Marvelin breaks deep though into 1. They get through the opening chicane hairpin complex. Pleb stays in front in P10. That is 1 point, remember. The top 10 in sprint races here on Race Spec. Top 10 scored points. Marvelin will do all he can to try and get by Pleb, score that 1 point. Down the long straightaway towards turn 13. He's not close enough here to try and make a move. He will stay behind. But heading out of the corner, you can see him close in thanks to his intact front wing. Pleb's doing all he can with a damaged wing. He's got so much understeer in that Alpine. But he's got assistance from his teammate. He will get some DRS. Someone who doesn't need DRS is our race leader. Oh, Pump is closing in. There might be a drag race for second. We'll keep an eye on that. Smithy will win the sprint race here in Saudi Arabia. Who will take second? It's going to be a Ferrari Pro by 0.08 of a second at the end of the sprint. Bags Liddell will take 4th thanks to Spicer getting a time penalty. Kong recovers to 6th after his earlier spin. ACW did his best with his current situation. It's P7 for him. Roscoe on P8, Pato 9th, and Plevs will score a point. Only just score a point by a little over 0.2 of a second. Yeah, this race was pretty scuffed. ACW, I agree. But that's Jeddah, and not to mention the game issues making stuff even more scuffed. Simo's done. Next will be Jimson and Davis when they cross the line. They have a bit of work to do in the race, but they must remember in the main event, you will score points. Yeah, I understand, ACW. I understand. Roscoe given driver of the day, driver of the sprint race for his performance. So, the results for the sprint. Smithy takes the win. Ferrari Pro in 2nd. Pump in 3rd. Bags Liddell 4th. Spicy 5th. Kong 6th. ACW in 7th. Roscoe Arm 8th. After starting from plumb last, finishes right smack bang in the middle of the field. That's typical Roscoe right there. He's really good at that. Pato P9, Ples P10, Marvelin P11, Simo 12th, Jimson 13th, Davis 14th. Gares voluntarily retired on the first lap. Not totally sure why, but he did. He'll be starting from the back in 15th position. Main race time in Jeddah. Alright, we had plenty of action, we had drama, we had some games being played by the drivers. And that was all in 9 laps, so imagine what these fellas are going to do in a 50% race. 25 laps, I want to say it is, 26, one of the two. I think it's 25 laps here at Jeddah. I'll double check when the timer pops up and we start the formation lap, we'll get to know then. But yeah, it's going to be a very interesting race. This is definitely one of the most interesting circuits we go to on the whole schedule. It has created some very exciting racing as my time as a commentator. I have been impressed with how action-packed it has been. Qualifying is quite a spectacle to watch as well. But I know driving it, how much of a nightmare this place can be. So hopefully everyone can get through this race unscathed. I can't help but feel, though, we're probably going to see a few incidents. Formation lap time. Who's starting on what? Bring up the detail. Well, isn't this a mix and match? And it is 25 laps. I was right the first time. Alright. This is a mix and match I was not expecting. Let's run through it. Smithy, starting from pole position, is on the medium compound tyre. Ferrari Pro is doing the same in P2. Pump in P3, Bags Liddell in P4, and Spicy in P5. They're all doing the same thing, starting on the medium compound tyre. Kong from P6 is starting on the hards. So is ACW and Roscoe. Pato, like the top 5, is starting on the mediums, and Plebs, his teammate, starting on the soft, SOFT, soft tyre. Don't see that all too often. Marvelin on the mediums in P11, Simo P12 on the mediums as well. Jimson, like Plebs, is starting on the soft tyre. Davis in P14 starting on the mediums, and Gares, starting from the back of the grid, is on the hard tyre and almost put it into the barrier. He is one of 4 drivers starting on the hard tyre. There are 2 drivers starting on the softs, and that's a spin for Davis. So that means we have 9 cars starting on the medium compound tyre. It's a very interesting mix and match when it comes to tyre compounds. A mix and match that, quite frankly, I was not expecting at all. Alright, let's get ready for the start of this Grand Prix. We saw plenty of drama on the opening lap in the sprint. I'm sure the drivers here are a lot more focused and aware of what they need to do on the opening lap, so long as they don't get too cocky on the opening lap. We should get through fine. Hello KD as well, better late than never.
Hi.
Hello.
Had a little fun at the side of the track for a little bit, but now I'm back in the compound, I suppose.
There's a surprising notion with the tyre compound selected.
I haven't looked at it just quite yet. Oh, wow. Fairly, somewhat mixed, I guess.
Diverse, to say the least. Somewhat surprising, I would think. I would have thought a lot of drivers would have started on the hards, but we have got a proper mix and match. All 15 cars are lined up, ready to run here. We've got 25 laps of this Jeddah Corniche Circuit in front of us. We got 10 red lights. And the main race is on the way. Another great start from Smithy. A good start from Ferrari Pro as well as they head down towards turn 1. A battle for P3? Not quite. Bags Liddell will take P3 for himself. Pump down to 4th. He's got a battle on his hands with Kong. Heading around turn 3 up towards turn 4. Spicy looking down the inside of turn 4 as well, but doesn't fully commit to the move. Plebs up to P7 as well. A nice start on the soft tyre, and he needed a nice start on the soft tyre. You need to utilise the grip that those tyres give and try and make up moves early. But this is a stark contrast to what happened on the sprint, in the sprint race. Oh, but one driver has spun. It's Davis spinning at the back of the field, but definitely less drama on the start, KD, compared to the previous race.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I did watch a little bit, though. It was very unfortunate what happened to Con in the middle part of the race. It looked like he was in set for a second, maybe first if he could have stayed on the Smithy. But yeah, other than that, though, it looks like Plebs line up for a move on Spicy, looking into the outside 22. Oh, he got contact! Oh no! Oh dear!
Whoa.
And into the barrier goes Spicy. Oh jeez. Outbroke himself and just went straight into the back of the Alpine. The Alpine's had a shocking sprint, and well, one of them's had another one too.
Smithy has been overtaken by Ferrari as well, so Ferrari Pro up into the race lead for whatever reason. Smithy slowing down, it looked like, as we got battle here in the midfield. Pato at the front of the train. We got ACW Marvel and Jimson all battling away, heading towards turn 1. Pato round the outside. He will keep P6. Jimson on the back of ACW. Marveland on the back of him. But what a shunt at turn 22. I was not expecting that.
I was not expecting that either. I guess maybe just Spicy just misread the situation or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, very unfortunate for Blevs. He's had a shocker in Jeddah for sure.
The Alpine crew have not had a great day in the office here in Saudi Arabia. Still a long way to go in this race, so Spicy in the pit lane getting his car repaired. He's leaving it just now, but he's going to need a safety car to try and get himself back into this race. The top two have broken away already. They have got 1.6 seconds back to Bags Liddell in P3. He had a pretty tidy start, making up a place from the race start. Pumped down to P4. Kong up to P5. But yeah, it was unfortunate what happened to Kong. He was battling up in the top 3 and then he threw it away. One simple mistake at turn 23.
Yeah, very easy to do as well. Well, not very careful with those curves there at turn 22 and 23. Very easy to spin out. Very easy to fall off the car a little bit as well, knowing how tall those curves are.
Absolutely.
That's the fastest lap with a 32.0. DRS will now be enabled on this lap.
Yep,
so
that will spice things up.
Yeah, so I did see a bit of gamesmanship, which can bump from Ferrari Pro. You're expecting it here in this race, I assume?
Yeah, probably. With how DRS works around this circuit, it is an incredibly powerful thing. And they're incredibly long DRS zones as well. I know in real life they have been shortened, especially the one on the main straight. Oh, and the Jimson! Great catch, awesome catch there at turn 9. Almost threw it away, but he managed to gather it up well. Oh, goodness. But, yeah, the DRS zone on the main straight has been shortened, so it's nowhere near as powerful as what it once was. But here in this game, obviously, that hasn't been introduced. So you get drivers who close in a lot heading towards the final corner and probably close in by enough to attack into the final corner, but they don't want to do it because they know as soon as they overtake the car in front of them, they're going to give them DRS down the main straightaway and they're going to re-pass heading into turn 1.
Exactly. Alright, well, we got the battle for the lead brewing. Smithy, though, if I'm looking at this battery situation, Ferrari Pro has depleted almost a lot of the batteries. Smithy has got over half of that battery still in store. Yeah,
60% compared to 21. But this is something that we tend to see from Ferrari Pro race on race. He's a spender of that battery. He utilizes all of it. He doesn't save a lot of it. Smithy, he's just sort of been in a class of his own. Oh, a bit of a mistake though there at turn 3. Bit of a wiggle, but it didn't cost him too much time. And once again, Bags Liddell providing great backup in P3. With this sort of race going for Aston Martin, they could challenge Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship.
Definitely a good point there, especially how Aston Martin have been going in the last couple of races, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. What? Oh, on yellows. Gares, I think that is? Yep.
Is it?
Yes,
Virtual.
Virtual safety car that's brought out. spinning out of turn 12, apparently.
Yeah, it completely destroyed the front wing on the Red Bull, so he'll have to make his way back into pit lane to get that fixed. But yeah, just a virtual safety car. I'm sure Spicy is pretty devastated about that. He needs a safety car to get himself back into this race after what happened at turn 22.
Well, with a circuit like this, it's definitely a good chance of a safety car happening. Especially with it being a very high-speed circuit, very demanding circuit as well, as we all know.
That's right. Now, VSC will more than likely be ending soon. The driver's going full throttle down the main straightaway, so I reckon it's... Oh, not quite. Not quite, as it seems. See, this is one of the dangers with virtual safety cars, as I experienced in Formula Endurance on Saturday. If you're not paying attention to the Delta, it's very easy to give yourself a speeding penalty. You need to have your eyes glued on the Delta. As Gers and Plevs pit. Now, Gers makes sense. He's got a broken car. But Plevs? Getting off softs onto a set of hards. He's going to try and go to the end, I reckon.
Yeah, and he should be able to. Those horses can definitely go for quite a while.
Green flag conditions or not quite. Still yellow's out.
Yellow for me, yeah.
But you saw the DRS enable prompt.
Yeah, I did.
There's green.
There it is. There we go.
So just a bit longer than what it should have been for whatever reason, but now it's all working just fine. Ferrari Pro out in front and he's dumping battery. He's got 8/10 in hand to Smithy in P2. But this battle is certainly not over for the race lead. Bags Liddell in P3. Behind him is Pump in the Williams, who is now only 4/10 of a second behind the Aston Martin. And he's got a full charge, but he's low on battery. Sorry, not low on battery, low on fuel. He's 0.03 under. So that VSC would have helped him out to try and save fuel. But I wonder if he's going to have any fuel issues throughout this race. Here comes Pump. Nothing that Bags can do about that. Through goes... Oh, but he overshoots turn 27.
He had a lock up there.
And guess what? Bags has got DRS down the main straight.
Yep.
Bags says toodles. And I'll take back the P3. Now, Pato on the back of Kong. Not close enough to battle the Red Bull driver, it would seem. Sparks flying from underneath the cars as they clobber the curbs at turn 2. Now, Jimson has elected to stay out. He's still running on those soft tyres. Plebs, he's a fair way behind everybody, but he's got clear air. He's got a license to just drive his own race and see what happens. Of course, if there's a well-timed safety car, it won't go too well for Plebs. But then again, this race hasn't been going too well for Plebs at all, so what difference does it make? As Kong gets a 3-second time penalty, the first for any driver in this race. Now, through turns 16 and 17. Yellow's out again. It's Davis spinning at turn 1. Here's the runoff area. He overshot the corner. Gets back going again.
Yeah, just missed it.
He missed it.
Don't give me any
Remind you of a governing body, eh? You know.
Yeah, I know.
Now...
That's why I have it on my Discord.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Smithy making his way around the final corner. 4/10 behind. Pump challenging Bags Liddell as well. We've got a couple of battles to keep an eye out for. Smithy, don't think he's close enough to attack here. I don't think he's got enough... Ooh. No, he doesn't have enough momentum. Pump does. He's got a lot of momentum. Doesn't go for it though. What about Pato? Round the outside at turn 1. Kong fights back round the outside at turn 2. Oh, Pato almost throws it away. Great catch though from the Italian. Marvelant tumbles down to P11 as well. A potential incident at turn 1 for the Haas driver. Tumbles down to 11th place. So we've got a few battles going on. We've got the two Alfa Romeos of Simo and Roscoe. Jimson just in front of them on soft tyres that are more than likely seen better days.
Yep, no on the surface and around here, and of course the soft tyres in this game. Oh, I don't think Ferrari got a good run there at turn 16 and 17.
No, he definitely did not. Nice aerial shot here, looking down at the racetrack as the leaders make their way towards the chicane of 22 and 23. You could see there briefly on the telemetry that Smithy actually lifted into the chicane. He's making sure he doesn't spook Ferrari Pro through that chicane, because he knows if you do that and the driver loses control, there's a fairly decent chance you're going to be involved in their accident. So he's just sticking behind. Pump is not. He's gone through, back through into third. But Bags Liddell, he'd be lining up the Williams at the exit of the final corner. He's going to try and counter. We got 3 battles going on. Smithy moves through into the lead on lap 8. Bags Liddell, can he retake third? The answer is no. And what about Kong? He's not close enough. Jimson is into pit lane as well. Top 2 separated by a 10th 2.
Oh, Smithy there. He had a twitch there. The exit of turn 5, it looked like.
Didn't he what?
Yeah. I was going to mention too, Pump seems like he's got some decent amount of straight line speed, considering how close him and Bags were at the main straightaway.
Marvelant, a 3-second time penalty. But yeah, you're absolutely spot on. I reckon Pump has got some serious car speed right now. He's going to be a tough cookie to pass. It also suggests that he has a low downforce setup thanks to how easy he's saving battery compared to some of the others around him. He's able to get full charges. Obviously, and it makes sense, when you've got lower drag, you're requiring less energy to push the car forward. And that means you're able to save more battery when you're getting off the accelerator, when you're getting on the brakes. So yeah, Pump, he's in a really solid position right now. He's got straight line speed, he's got battery in hand, and even though he might be a tad bit slower through the S section, where they're going to pass through the S section. So Bags, he's not gaining. He's gaining a few hundredths, maybe a tenth, maybe 2 tenths. It's not enough though. Through turns 1 and 2, sparks flying off the cars. Underneath the hotel, up towards the S's now. It's Ferrari Pro. Gets something he doesn't need to get. A 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. I think he's just shot himself in the foot there, KD.
Yep. And if a safety car comes out, well, then, yeah, that's not going to be good for this sort of situation.
Well, Ferrari Pro has got a mountain's worth of work in front of him. Not only must he keep up with Smithy, not only must he put himself in a position to attack Smithy, he's got a penalty to deal with now, and that wasn't a great run through turn 17. It's cost him a couple of tenths of a second.
Yeah, that was shocking. He went too deep there into turn 16. That cost him a bit of time there, like you mentioned. Oh, and I don't think he got a good run either. It looked like he just went a bit understeery there.
Yeah,
what it looked like to me.
Yeah, it was spot on. He cost himself a few hundredths of a second. It's not much, but those hundredths do matter in a battle such as this, where DRS is so critical. Fortunately, DRS is powerful and allows Ferrari Pro to close back within 6.5 tenths, back down to 6 tenths, 5.5 tenths, 5 tenths. He is closing in rapidly thanks to the sheer power of DRS. He's back on his diffuser.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. If that does not show off how overpowered DRS is, then nothing will. Bags. Bags. 3-second time penalty. A penalty he cannot afford to get in his battle for P3. Pump in front of him. He's looking for his first podium of the season. I don't think Pump has finished on the podium at all this season. I'm pretty certain he hasn't. If he has, I don't remember chatting to him.
It's been a while. I think it's... Oh, no, Pro there. Again, makes another critical error there. Turn 16 and 17. Nearly turned too soon this time.
He's still keeping himself just within DRS range, and I mean just. But thanks to the power of DRS again, he closes in rapidly through the DRS zones. He has got a really, really quick Ferrari. speed?
Yeah, 200. Yeah, nearly 205 there. Miles an hour. I rate miles an hour, of course, but yeah, that's so quick. ACW meanwhile gets by Kong.
Around the outside, heading into the final corner. Kong could counter here. Oh, but ACW got a real nice run out to the final turn. I don't think Kong can counter. He's now starting to close in, but I'm afraid it's too little, too late. He'll stay in P7 as Roscoe Arm goes in.
That's a bit early, I think, isn't it?
Is it damage related, or is this a strategical stop? It's damage.
Oh, damage, that's why. And Kong's just shot himself in the foot.
Yes, he has. Kong, 3-second time penalty next to his name. The 5th driver of the night to get a time penalty. Need to keep those to a minimum, especially if there is a safety car at any point. Ferrari Pro is not giving in. He'd be ruining the fact that he's got a 3-second time penalty. Here he comes!
He's going for it! No!
I was going to say, why would you go for it there?
Well, we did see that with Marcus Costa doing that last season.
That is very true.
That was an outside move, if I'm correct.
But I think you'll be a lot more comfortable going around the outside doing it. That way you give yourself the inside line at turn 23. When you go down the inside at 22 and into the pits come the 2 leaders, they're in. Smithy, a penalty!
Smithy, for penalty, 5
what?
seconds!
No. He wasn't anywhere near the pits. That's the penalty I got. Way back. In a different league.
Good.
He got a 5-second penalty because he went over the white lines. And it considers it a speeding penalty. What rubbish. This game is still broken, even after how many months of release?
Nearly a year. Nearly a year.
Unbelievable. Well, hopefully he doesn't need to make another pit stop during this race. Otherwise, he will have to serve that 5-second time penalty. But if he doesn't, he will successfully get that removed. That is complete and utter rubbish.
Oh, it is. Absolutely. That's why I try to be cautious going through that pit lane as well if I'm racing at Jeddah. Because I know about that. It's just broken. Absolutely broken.
Marvelin has had an incident through the S section. Not sure if he's got any wing damage. Roscoe Arm is closing in. Can I get an outboard shot of Marvelin's car? Oh, for goodness sake. Thank you. Have you got wing damage? No, you do not. That's all I needed to know. I was curious. Here comes Ferrari Pro again. He's looking. He's got speed. He's just got nowhere to go right now.
Yep.
Using up that battery again. Closing the gap up.
Rapidly, too.
Here he comes to the inside. Oh, he's trying to back up. Oh,
here comes the gamesmanship there.
Yep.
You'll get DRS down this thing straight away, for sure.
Pair of top-tier drivers playing some gamesmanship games right there as, well, Ferrari Pro moves through into 5th. How long will he hang on to that? Ferrari Pro's teammate, HCW, making his way out of the pits. Down in P8, he is 2.4 seconds behind Pump, who is on fresh tyres. And Pump, remember, he's P3, so ACW has a shot at getting a podium finish here. But he needs to keep his head down, and he needs to pray, KD, to the Wi-Fi gods that he doesn't DC.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that. There's internet issues, apparently.
Still running, that's the main thing.
Yeah, it's a bit crummy to deal with that.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we all get those real-world technical issues that hold us back at some point or another. And unfortunately for ACW, tonight is that night. So,
yep.
Davis, a time penalty, down in 14th position. So, we've got 6 drivers with time penalties. 7, sorry, I can't count. And here comes Smithy, around the outside of the final corner. Can't fully commit to the move as Kong pits in to get off his hard tyres and onto a set of mediums. Smithy closing in down the main straightaway, but not by enough to challenge the Ferrari just yet. Now he's having a look down the inside into turn 1. Oh, and he gives himself a time penalty.
Oh.
Well, now it's an even game. It's a genuine fight between the top two, between Ferrari Pro and Smithy. They both have the same time penalties now, if we ignore Smithy's 5 second, of course. He will get that removed. It's now a much more genuine fight between Ferrari Pro and Smithy. And I suppose let's not discount Pump here. He is still within 3 seconds of the top two. And if the top two continue to battle, Pump will stay within 3 seconds. And not to mention the flying Ferrari of ACW, who's now on medium shot tyres. He is going to be pushing hard. He has a chance. A slim chance, but a chance nonetheless of a race win. He will know that, I would think, I would hope. He's going to be pushing like crazy.
Oh, he will be, for sure.
So we got strategy playing into this. We got a couple of on-track battles right now. It's all starting to kick off here at Jeddah. I wonder where all of this drama will eventually end up. Smithy is still half a second behind Ferrari Pro, but he's in trouble street right now. He's got 8 seconds worth of penalties. 5 seconds are completely unjustified, and purely because this game is literally a piece of garbage with a Codemaster sticker slapped on the front of it. So he'll get those 5 seconds removed, but those 3 seconds, not so much. Those 3 second time penalties are really, really tough to remove. So
yeah, it's clear and obvious that he caught too much of turn 1.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I don't really think he can say that, oh, Ferrari Pro forced me to cut turn 1. As with many things, brakes and accelerators, especially accelerators, work both ways. Could have quite easily backed out of that situation to make sure he didn't cut the corner if he thought Ferrari Pro was cutting in. So, yeah, he couldn't be, I don't think he'd be able to get that warning removed. So, yeah, no, this is a very genuine fight between Ferrari Pro and Smithy. Something that I've really looked forward to seeing between these two. They're two incredible, high-quality drivers here in the Pacific Elite Series. Smithy has demonstrated his prowess throughout this season. And Ferrari Pro, well, he's our two-time defending Elite Series champion. He's more than proven himself in this category. He'll be looking for that race win to try and restart his championship chances.
Oh, no!
That doesn't help though. Smithy's now on the back of him with that slide. DRS open on Smithy's Aston Martin. He's closing in on the Ferrari, who is out of battery. Down the inside he looks, but does not fully commit for a move at turn 1. He'll stay behind. Kong fastest lap at 30.754. Yeah, he's on fresh tyres as well, down in P8. And now Pump, 4.1 seconds behind Smithy, has got ACW trailing him by half a second through the S section. The iconic, the difficult S section here at the beginning of the lap. Both drivers get through unscathed. ACW in the slipstream trying to close the gap as Kong gets a penalty. 3 seconds, increasing his tally to 9. He is not coping well with penalties. What was looking so promising, KD, for Kong, completely turned upside down.
Yeah, it was. He had pole position. I saw a really good lap that he did as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, the sprints in the race, this main race, and yeah, it's just kind of. Oh,
Kong!
Is that Kong? Yeah, it is.
Well, there we go. Just talking about him. It's going from bad to worse to very worse. So.
Sorry, Colin.
Apologies. Commentator's curse. You know how it works. As ACW moves through into P6, Pump could try and re-challenge for position, but I don't think he'll have the tyres to do so. He's got battery, but he's not using any of it. He knows he can't battle that car on those tyres. He will not have the car speed. He will not have the corner grip to try and challenge ACW. So he stays behind. Jimson Marvelant changing places for P11. Marvelant down to P12. Ferrari Pro now has a bit of traffic to deal with. The Simo in the Alfa Romeo yet to stop. Smithy hovering behind. Both of these guys need to deal with those in front. Need to deal with them quickly and effectively. It's not as if Simo is required to roll out the red carpet and let the pair of them through. He is fighting for position on track. He is entitled to fight as much as he's entitled to get out of the way. And he's not getting out of the way. Ferrari Pro, DRS firmly shut. He doesn't want to go for a move here at 22. I don't blame him. Through 23, though, Smithy's on the back of him.
Smithy. That was tight.
DRS open. There goes Ferrari Pro. There goes Smithy. Yellow flags are out. It's Davis spinning. That's at turn 3. Bags Liddell goes into the pit lane to get off those medium tyres. And more than likely, I think, KD, onto a set of softs.
Yep, probably.
Down the main straightaway. Here comes Smithy closing in. Down towards T1. He looks, but does not commit.
Yep, stays behind. Fair enough.
Give credit to Pump as well. He's sticking with ACW.
Yeah, no, he hasn't dropped out. I mean, those hards can definitely last a while, like I mentioned. Those mediums are for ACW. They'll be a bit touch and go, but I mean, he'll still have some sort of pace. Like, he won't be in poacher territory for sure, but I think that might be towards the end. The tires might see better days.
Can't help but feel that maybe Bags Liddell could play himself into this. It's unfortunate he's got a time penalty next to his name as well. If he didn't, he'd be in this fight for 4th place on track. It's so frustrating, isn't it, Katie, when you're commentating a race, when you're watching a race, and you know this could be a really interesting battle, but you know in the back of your mind, oh, it's a Simo has spun! He has spun at turn 16! He's broken his wing! At least bits of it! He's broken probably a bit more of it with that shunt. Oh, dearie me. Just yellows, no safety car.
No VSC even.
Nope. No, nothing. Yeah, it's
Alright,
frustrating, isn't it? Knowing that you could be really engaged in the battles, but penalties were going to sort everything out anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's from a driving perspective as well. Like, you don't want to give yourself penalties as well, because you know how much it can hamper your situation for either position, whether it be a race win or just you try to get a decent finish. Yeah, of course, you don't want anything like that happen. Of course, Conley will gets by Simo. Simo goes to pit lane to fix that front wing, of course.
Ferrari Pro getting close with track limits there at turn 5. He was a bit wide at the exit of the right-hander as well. He's giving it some, so is Smithy. These two pushing hard. There is Gers. He's going to go a lap down very shortly. 3.4 seconds back in ACW. ACW, all he needs to do is get within 3 seconds of both the leading cars. That's all he needs to do. He doesn't need to pass them, just needs to get within 3 seconds of them. And at the moment, he's 3.2 behind Smithy.
Yep, definitely. He could definitely get Smithy, but it still needs a little bit more, though, if he wants to get Ferrari Pro for sure. But, yeah, we'll see towards the end, though, how those mediums will fare as Ferrari Pro gets by the ghosted Gers. Speaking of which, that gets a bit of DRS to complement that. Yep,
absolutely. So, a little bit of a helping hand for our current race leader, Smithy, hovering behind. Now he's got time penalties to deal with. Knowing he can get a time penalty removed with absolute certainty, he can still fight for a race win. He is still in this. Ferrari Pro needs to know that. He has to know that. That 5-second penalty was not warranted in any way, shape or form. He will get that removed.
Absolutely, yeah. No, that penalty was complete bullshit.
Absolutely. Absolutely it was. It was complete rubbish. But Ferrari Pro might not know that. He might think, oh, I could just let Smithy through and I could still take the race win because he's got 8 seconds worth of penalties. He needs to know that those 5 seconds that Smithy has, he can easily get those removed.
And also looking at Ferrari Pro's situation in terms of warnings after the penalty, he's got 1 extra warning to follow. So he doesn't need to, if he gets 2 more, obviously he'll get another penalty.
Yeah. And then there'll be panic stations at Ferrari, I'm sure.
Yeah, Smithy's in the same situation as Ferrari Pro 2. So yeah.
Down towards the final corner. Turn 27, the gap sitting at 0.4 of a second. How much pace has ACW got left on those tyres? Pump, he's still within a second. He's still fighting and clawing away, trying to keep up. He might be able to finish on the podium provisionally at least, thanks to the time penalties that Smithy has. But I'm almost certain Smithy will be able to get that 5 seconds removed.
Yeah, unless he goes into the pits and serves it in the pit lane, like you mentioned earlier, if a safety car does happen.
Through turn 9 into the left-hander at 10. Through 11 and 12, up towards turn 13. 0.4 of a second, separating the top 2. And look who's joined the fray. Bags Liddell. Davis has retired from the session with 4 laps to go. Will that bring out the safety car? Oh my goodness. No, it hasn't. He's off the racetrack. He's in the barrier. How has that not brought out the safety car?
What? That's literally on the right-hand side. Yeah, that's... What? Yeah, that should be a safety car.
It was not. All the penalty runners rejoice. All of those who don't have time penalties cry in sorrow. They can't believe it. I can't believe it. And Smithy goes round the outside, heading around turn 27. You saw that check up there.
Oh, that's a bit of a squeeze there. Ferrari Pro will get DRS because he was behind Smithy in the detection point.
Those are the games. That's gamesmanship here at Saudi Arabia. Manipulating the track to its absolute limit. And right there, that's master manipulation. Allowing yourself to keep DRSs. Pump has spun! Oh my goodness me! He's thrown away a provisional podium. Pano's in with a shot now. Bags Liddell drops down to P5. Oh my goodness me! Pano's in with a shot for a podium finish. Maybe. Oh, it's going to be tight between him and Smithy as the checkered flag falls.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's got him for Palm. He was looking so good. It was a very good run from what he had.
Absolutely. I am gutted. I was looking forward to hearing Pump again. I have not spoken to him in an interview for ages. He has performed brilliantly. That Williams looked like a weapon out there. It was fast. It was bad fast. But, yeah. P6 at the moment. He can still secure a top 5. He needs to stay within 3 seconds of Bags Liddell. The game is not over at the front as Davis has left the session. The leaders make their way onto the main straightaway to end lap 22 and begin lap 23. 3 laps to go at the Jeddah Corniche Circuit. 2:10 separating the top 2. 3.3 seconds back is ACW. He needs to get within 3 seconds of the top 2 as Bags Liddell gets another time penalty. That will ruin his chances of a top 5 finish. It will give 5th to Pump.
Unlucky there. Very unlucky, very unlucky. ACW though, well, I think you see the gap between himself and Ferrari Pro. 3.6 seconds. He needs a close of another close to 6 tenths in order to get the win. It's going to be so close, I reckon.
Absolutely. It's all to play for here at Jeddah. Big points on offer thanks to the sprint format. so much to play for in the context of the championship too. The top 3 in the Drivers' Championship are 1, 2 and 3 on track. This could prove to be a pivotal race in the championship. Underneath the hotel and around the Red Sea for the 3rd last time. Smithy doing a brilliant job, and he's got battery to spare. Ferrari Pro, I cannot say the same, but he has got a bullet train in the form of a Ferrari down the straightaways. He is incredibly quick, but Smithy is biding his time. He is waiting for the last possible moment to try and strike. Heading into turn 1, you could see Smithy just trying to play with Ferrari Pro a little bit there. Dummying to the inside, then moving back to the racing line. Ferrari Pro is just thinking about Smithy behind him, making sure he can keep him at bay. Oh, dearie me. Oh, a bit wide from Smithy there, though. That was tight. Well, I think that was lag for Ferrari Pro there. Big lag there. We're okay. We're all good. Around the sweeper. Turn 13. And into the back half of the racetrack. Now, Smithy, I don't think... Oh, he's using a little bit of battery. Just a little bit. He won't use a lot of battery through this section, I think. Not a great deal anyway. Yeah, there we go. He switches it off. And now you just use DRS. Spicy gets fastest lap.
Yeah, just trying to close up, obviously.
Yeah.
You'll wait till the main straight and then pounce on the Ferrari.
Yep. Absolutely. Ferrari Pro needs to be on top of it here. DRS open. I'm surprised Smithy isn't using a bit of battery here on this straightaway, just to close up that little bit more on Ferrari Pro. He's 2.5 tenths behind. Heading round the final corner. He gets a decent enough exit. The battle is on. Heading down the main straightaway with DRS open. It's the final lap. Ferrari Pro covers the inside. Smithy going round the long way. Ferrari Pro dives it in. Smithy with the inside line at turn 2, keeps the race lead. A fantastic bit of planning from the Aston Martin driver. What can Ferrari Pro do? He needs to keep up with Smithy through this opening sector S section. He cannot let Smithy drive away, but Smithy has that battery advantage. He will dump it.
Oh, he bunks the wall there. Ferrari Pro bunked the wall there at turn 8. Oh, that might have cost him time. A little bit of time.
It did. He's 7 tenths back now as they head around the sweeper. But let's not forget ACW could be in on this too. If he can find a little bit more time. He's 3.4 seconds behind Smithy. He needs to get within 3. Heading into the back half of the circuit. I don't think there's much that Ferrari Pro can do. Smithy has played 8D chess out there. He is way in front of Ferrari Pro. He planned this out ages ago to set up a last lap charge, and it's worked brilliantly. Although he will not keep the race win, provisionally at least, he should be able to keep the race win after steward interventions, because those 5 seconds were definitely not warranted. For now, Smithy will cross the line in first. He will not say there though. Provisionally, Ferrari Pro, ACW, sorry, is the race winner here in Saudi Arabia. Ferrari Pro in P2, a 1-2 for Ferrari, but I don't think that will stand. Pato does not finish on the podium, but he still finishes in a pretty good 4th place. Pump P5, Bags Liddell in P6, Plebs home in 7th. Not a bad effort from Alpine after all that happened. Roscoe Arm up to 8th, Kong down in 9th. Then it'll be Marvelin and Jimson who are battling. Oh, and Jimson's thrown it into the wall. He lost control at the final corner and head-butted the barrier. Here comes Simo. Doesn't get him at the line though. Simo stays in P12, Jimson P11. And then it'll be Spicy, our final finisher. After Gares, of course, in P14. Spicy, P13 with a donut. Half a donut. He's going to reverse across the line.
A little bit of showmanship.
driver of the day given to ACW. Little wonder why. He's ended up the provisional winner. He'll get, at worst, second, I think, in this race. He's performed brilliantly, especially with the connection troubles he had earlier. And he will stand on the top step for now, of course. P2 goes to his teammate Ferrari Pro, who did all he could at the front of the field. But he couldn't stop Smithy. Smithy crosses the line in first, but with those 8 seconds worth of penalties, he is provisionally third.
Well, that actually was pretty decent. I'm surprised we didn't have a single safety car throughout this entire session.
Me too. So,
at least a couple.
The unofficial race results of the main event of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. ACW is your race winner by a little over 1/10 of a second to his teammate Ferrari Pro. Currently, it's a Ferrari 1-2, but I do not believe it will stand. Smithy, with his 8 seconds worth of penalties, has 5 unjustifiable seconds next to his name, thanks to a rubbish bug at pit lane entry here at Jeddah. He will get that removed, and he will more than likely take the win here at Jeddah, but we'll wait and see. GeForce Pato P4, Pump P5, Bags P6, Pledge 7th, Roscoe Arm in 8th, Kong 9th, Marvel in 10th, Jimson finishes P11. He might not have finished after what I saw. Far out. Simo 12th, followed by Spicy and Gez Davis retiring towards the end of the race. One simple mistake seemed that turn 4 and 5, and it cost him in what could have been a safety car, and that would have turned the whole race upside down.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Leave this and we'll move over to our little theatre. Meanwhile that's loading, I'll invite the 2 Ferrari drivers in. We can have a chat about what just happened in that race. Let's see here. Must have went straight past him. And oh,
shoot.
Gee whiz. Whew.
G'day.
G'day. Hello, ACW.
Hello.
Hey,
Ferrari Pro, are you there as well?
Yeah, I'm here.
That's good. Just double check your audio levels just to make sure everything's fine. Alright, fellas, thank you for joining us here. We'll be talking about what on earth happened throughout this event, and I reckon both of you will have plenty to say. We'll start with you, Ferrari Pro. A hell of an effort during that event. What are your overall thoughts about this Saudi Arabian Grand Prix?
Oh, not happy, to be honest. Really not happy. Yeah, just not happy, really, because we know, like, Smithy will probably get that removed and that, and yeah, 1-2 will probably be gone then, so it's back to P3 for me.
Yeah, I have a feeling you're probably right. Qualifying for you, it looked pretty strong at the beginning, and then slipped over a banana peel, did you?
Yeah, just took too much curb, getting so, like, yeah, just wanted to push more and more, but yeah, just took a lot of curb and yeah, binned it in the mud.
Yeah, well, it does happen from time to time. And don't beat yourself up too hard about it. P7 after all of that, so it could have been worse, I suppose. You set a competitive enough lap time to at least start in the middle of the pack. How was the race start for the sprint?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I think through turn 2, I got like from P7 to P4, so that was pretty cool. And then I think I got past it was Pump, and then Silverfort had the spin. So yeah, it was a pretty good sprint race. I'll take that. But, yeah.
Fair enough. But no, I believe it was a P2 finish.
Yeah, P2.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, solid points there, and a front row start for the main event. How was that start as well, lining up alongside Smithy? Smithy got the jump, it looked like. I was on board with you at Lights Out.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with my start actually on the dirty side, because I knew like if Smithy got in front of me, I could just basically stay with him in DRS, which is what I did. So yeah, I was happy about the start, and yeah, happy we got through turn 1, or my side through turn 1 clean.
Yep, and throughout that race, the game plan was just to stick with Smithy for as long as possible.
Yeah, just stick with him, overtake him, just try do everything I can get past him. And I basically did that, but yeah, it wasn't so much at the end.
Well, yeah, you put up an extremely valiant effort, and you actually utilised a bit of gamesmanship as well by checking up early at the final corner to make sure you gave yourself DRS down the main straightaway. So you did everything you could to try and hang on. But Smithy had a lot of battery at the end.
Yeah, I should have been saving, man. It's so hard to save when like you're out front of it. And,
yeah.
What can I do? But
yeah, especially if you're at the especially if you're at the front, I can understand that pain.
But no, your sprint race form has served you well, battling up towards the front for a fair chunk of that, providing us with some entertaining action as well. And 2 second-place finishes in both races. It's also a pretty solid effort on your end. Nice points.
Well, like it's nice not right now. Like, well, it's obviously an unofficial one, but it's nice to have our first 1-2 in a race of the season for me in ACW, I guess. But like as you said, really good constructors points. But
yeah, absolutely. You fellas are looking really, really strong in the constructors right now. So you must be pretty happy with the season that you've had so far as a team effort.
Yeah, we're both pretty pleased about it. I think we'd love to be a tiny bit higher in the drivers, but yeah, we're really happy about how the constructors is going. We're feeling really confident for it. So yeah, I'm just happy for ACW. You know, he's got his first win in like nearly a year. So yeah, pretty happy for him.
KD, anything to ask?
Well, what? So what is that? So I didn't quite catch all of it, but like, well, as far as what happened to you in qualifying, what exactly happened in qualifying? Like, how did you spin out?
So going through the new corner in real life, that's I think like 50 kilometers an hour slower. I don't know what.
Turn 22, 23.
Yeah, 22, 23.
Yeah. I just took it out a bit wider, and while I was just pushing, just got a bit on the curb, and yeah, basically just spun and pinned it.
Yeah, and let me think. So, what were your wings exactly? Because I feel like you and Smithy were roughly the same, I would say, in terms of pace. Like, in terms of how close you were.
Yeah, I was running 13-11 wings. They actually felt pretty good, like honestly, really good, even through the S sections. Like they felt nice and planted. So yeah, really nice and good on the straights also.
Yeah, fair enough.
One final question for you, Ferrari Pro. Next week, we're heading over to Melbourne, Albert Park, for the Australian Grand Prix. How do you feel heading into next week's race?
Yeah, it is. Like I do like Melbourne. Like it is the home Grand Prix. You know, I didn't have obviously the best race I wanted last season around Melbourne, but I really do like the track. I think it's a fun circuit to drive on and that, and it might not be as kind to me as I want. Like I haven't had an overall like luck around there and just really any league race, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I like Melbourne.
Well, best of luck then for next week's race. But for now, congratulations on your, I suppose, provisional P2 finish. Well done.
Thank you, Lane and KD, and congrats to Smithy and ACW on his first win. Yeah, well, good job.
Speaking of which, ACW, mate, you've had an up and down day.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't look great, did it, at the start? Had a ton of DC issues. So what happened? So your Ethernet cable just gave up?
So I hop on like 7 o'clock, like half an hour before, and I check on my PS5 and it just cannot identify the LAN cable.
Oh, God.
I have no idea what's going on. I asked my dad, so I have to connect to the Wi-Fi, so it's just dog ass. And then like beginning of qualifying, my dad comes back, like he's fixed it. Apparently it just reset itself or something.
Right. So just the Wi-Fi had a hiccup and yeah, it just needed a reset. Interesting.
Yeah. But then obviously my LAN cable's a bit sussy. Like every time I turn it on, it just disconnects, like in the first 10 minutes.
Okay.
Like briefly and then reconnects. So I got like an extra few.
Right, okay, interesting. But yeah, qualifying looked really, really bad until last minute you pop out to P3. You must have been pretty happy with that after all that happened before that.
I was relieved, I wasn't happy. It was
Fair
really
enough.
cautious that lap.
Yeah.
I was doing like 28.2s for bankers, and like doing 28.3 is my best. Wasn't the best, but P3 was alright, I guess.
You'll take it considering the situation that you were in.
Absolutely.
And then, well, you started P3. You didn't stay there, though. You DC'd before the formation lap. So the AI did a lot of the talking, and you started to drop back. Must have been frustrating.
Yeah, it was the DC with the first 10 minutes thing.
Yeah.
Annoying.
So it would just, you'd be able to reconnect, but then it would disconnect you and you just keep going back and forth until eventually it stabilizes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Typically that's why I like hop on earlier, like just let it stabilize and then I stop.
Fair enough.
But apparently it just had its mood swings, I suppose.
Yeah, today it had its periods today.
Interesting. But you recovered well, you finished P7, so that allowed you to score some points for the sprint and into the main race, lining up 7th on the grid. How was the start for the main event?
On the hards, it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
I had the two Alpines pass me on the softs and the mediums.
Yep.
I knew I had the raw pace to like stick with there and and then luckily a lot of people ahead just kept dying, crashing into each other.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, in front of you on lap 1, Spicy and Pledge came together at 22.23. So
that was scary.
That was sketchy, yeah. We caught a fair chunk of that. That was really sketchy there. Big shunt. And fortunately, those were the only two people involved. There wasn't any more involved in the accident, so...
I was right behind him.
Yeah, you were. I just checked the stream just to make sure. I was certain I saw red go through, and yeah, you were. So, luckily for you, they didn't come into your path and destroy your car, so you were still running. But, yeah, after that, you were up into... Actually, you returned back to P7 because of the couple of people that passed you. And then what was the game plan? You were on the hard tyre. You had a plan at all in mind?
It was basically just raw pace, don't touch ERS.
Fair enough.
Which worked out quite well, I'd say.
Not fair enough.
Just utilize the mechanical grip, obviously, towards the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Fair enough. You pitted on lap 12, it looks like?
Yeah, lap 12.
Lap 12, so just before the halfway mark. You knew the tyres could easily make it?
Yeah.
Yep, fair.
Still practice. I did considerably less practice than normal.
Yep.
So many assignments.
Sorry, mate. School like that. School like that. But, You were closing in, heading towards the end of the race on the top two. You had a shot to win that thing. If you got within 3 seconds of both cars, you would have won this race, even if Smithy got the 5-second removed. Was that in your mind? Was that bouncing about in your head?
Yeah, that was definitely on my mind, but I think it was like lap 17. I was just stupid, not concentrating. I got a second warning, so it was sketch, those last laps.
Those are the worst.
Yeah, I got to catch up, but also not exceed track limits.
Not fun. But the two in front battled enough to the point where your teammate was pushed back to within 3 seconds of yourself, and you ended up beating him by just over a tenth. I mean, I know you probably won't hang on to the race win because of Smithy's situation right now. But are you happy overall, considering everything that, well, actually, the better word, the word that you use, relieved to at least finish on the podium?
I think, honestly, yeah, relieved. But I think that 5-second might stay, because it only happens if you cross the white line.
We'll wait and see.
Even if your game's bugged, then it breaks race spec rules.
We'll wait and see. But that's a very fair point. Within race spec rules, you must keep all 4 tyres within the white lines through pit entry and pit exit. That's a very fair point. I forgot about that. I got pinged for that a little while ago in a tier 3 race at Singapore. A driver behind me caught me crossing the white line at pit entry, and I got pinged for it.
You naughty boy.
Yeah, I got
naughty.
5 seconds for it. So you might be right. You might be right. We'll wait and see.
Have to wait.
We'll have to wait. But
hopefully it stays.
for your sake, yeah, and for Ferrari's sake as well.
Wind drought as well. It's been a year, I think, nearly. It's actually approaching nearly a year.
Man, must be
last
nice.
One. Must be nice.
The last time I won is yeah, long time ago. But
Are we talking about GT Sport or are we talking about F1?
oh, both. Long time ago. Long time ago. KD, do you have anything to ask our race winner?
Nah, no further comments. Just otherwise, congratulations on, well, provisionally at least your win, but no, you, at least you gave a decent effort despite all your troubles with your internet. That's just for sure.
But ACW, one final question for you. Next week, I think it's next week. We might be having a break week now that I think about it. I'll have to double check the calendar. But
I think we're still racing.
Because I think on the calendar it says the break week is the first weekend of April, but Plebs has also got the Australian Grand Prix dated on the first weekend of April. So I'm not sure. We'll wait and see. Anyway, the next race that we're going to, ACW, is at Albert Park. What are your thoughts about the Melbourne Street Circuit?
Before the track change, I quite enjoyed the track.
Now?
Then not really as much.
Okay, fair enough.
So, I mean, last season I struggled with a lot of grip, so...
Alright. Well, best of luck
some
then.
homework.
Maybe.
With also my school homework and assessment.
It was to try and get your eye into the racetrack and into the conditions. So maybe not a bad idea for Albert Park. But mate, for now, congratulations on winning the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Well done. But KD, I think that will wrap everything up. Not quite. I forgot something. One quick mention to Mr. Smithy, who pulled off a masterclass, if I'm being honest. The time penalties were a massive hamper. And what ACW said, that's a very fair point. If you got a 5 second for speeding like that, you got that because you crossed the white line, and you're not supposed to do that. So you might actually keep that 5 seconds on second thought. I completely forgot about that. But that's an extremely fair point to make. But your performance, regardless, was excellent, superb. Played 8D chess out there. Ferrari Pro did everything he could to stay in front of you, and you just chilled in DRS and saved up battery, and you overtook him at the most important point of the race and pulled away. And there was absolutely nothing that Ferrari Pro could do about it. It was superb, masterful driving right at the critical stage of the race. Just thinking outside the box, being controlled, and making sure you're in front at the right moment at the right time. It was superb. But yeah, for now it's P3. Whatever the stewards decide is, well, whatever the stewards decide. Congratulations on that mega effort, and congrats on winning the sprint as well. Big effort there, and a P2 at the end of qualifying. But I think now, KD, I'll wrap everything up. I think this was one of the better races that we've had this year so far.
Yeah, had some dramatic moments and had some good racing, and yeah, I think it's been a fairly decent race we've had so far. I would agree with that.
Now, folks, we got to get ready and tune in for the real-life Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Got Sergio Perez starting from pole position, and double world champion Fernando Alonso starting alongside. The pace in the Aston Martin is real, it seems, but I don't know if the mighty Alonso can challenge the sheer speed of the Red Bull. Additionally, we got Leclerc starting a fair ways back, and Verstappen starting down in P15. That's going to be incredibly interesting to see how that pans out. See those two rocket ships fly their way up through the order. But I think, folks, with everything said and done, it's now time for us to end the stream. I've been Lane Everingham. My co-commentator, as always, is KD1997. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. And we'll see you next week, maybe the week after. We'll have to wait and see how the break weeks actually work. But if we do see you next week, it will be for round 9 of the championship at Albert Park for the Australian Grand Prix. Until then, it's goodbye.